All right, everyone. I am super excited to be here with all of you. I want to introduce you to some amazing students who have graduated from the Soul Success Unleashed program, and they're going to share with you a bit about their experiences. I always know, for me, it's so fun and inspiring, for one thing, to hear other people's stories, to know what other people have gone through. And for those of you that are considering joining the Soul Success program, wondering if this is for you, I think so often we can see ourselves through other people's experiences. And so I know every time I run this, people get very inspired with the transformations that they've got to experience. And if it's possible for them, I know it's possible for you too. So I would love, with no further ado, to let them share who they are and where they're from, and then we'll get started. I have 5 questions. So here we are. We have Deanna.
Hi, everybody. I'm Deanna Hafner. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Beautiful. All right, Ilana.
Hello, I am Alana Balaji and I live in Centennial, Colorado. I just graduated from Mastery and just got my certificate a few weeks ago.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And Sakura.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sakura, and I'm in Jacksonville, Florida.
Awesome. All right. So, everyone, let's go ahead and just jump into the questions here and start with the first one. So, the first question I wanted to ask each of you, and we'll kind of just go around in a roundtable format to see how it resonates for you. How has Soul Success Unleashed program positively impacted you personally? And this could also be, you personally, but also sometimes it's how you are connecting with your family and others as well. I think that can sometimes be an aspect for people. So, Deanna, you want to go ahead and start it off?
Sure thing. Well, Soul Success Unleashed has helped me in so many different avenues, both in like really overt ways, like finally getting packaging and language content set up on my website, which was really untangible before, and on a more like lighthearted way, it's just the nuances throughout each day, being more aware of my own energy and when different thoughts or feelings would come into my body, having the ability to discern and separate, not always needing to. I'd say before SSU, I would feel it or think it, and then I'd have to separate it apart. And now, since completing SSU 1 and I'm in the mastery program as we speak, I noticed that as experiences will happen in real life time. Like, for example, I was driving my husband to the hospital for open heart surgery. And in the past, that high tension level and rush hour traffic would have sent me over the edge. And I was able to stay really centered and grounded, even though there was some other drivers that weren't the same way. And I really credit that to Soul Success Unleashed. I really do. Just in those little nuances of controlling my own emotional body.
I think that is so huge and something that all of us can pretty much relate to on a daily basis. When it comes to just the collective climate, for one thing, just what the world's going through. I think as sensitives and empaths, we know a lot. And then especially, of course, when you're going through something that's intense or overwhelming with our family and our loved ones. So I love that you're able to apply that and navigate that so much. And I'm glad that your husband's doing well, right? Yes, good, good, good.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you for sharing. All right, Ilana.
Yeah, SSU really has impacted me in so many ways. Like Deanna's story kind of reminded me, trying to think back to when I started level 1 in June, and I was a counseling intern taking on 17 clients as like a new therapist, and having these energy tools and awareness was so key to keeping myself grounded. And throughout all this time, I've really grown in my confidence. My belief in myself is way up, imposter syndrome way down. I don't feel like I have a need to prove anything. It just feels like I can have a lot more hope and peace because life is a lot easier when you're connected to yourself and you're connected to spirit. And I've also learned a lot more about taking personal responsibility and my personal power. So it shifted I kind of have a new understanding about like power dynamics with friends, family, my husband. So I've taken more accountability and what's the lesson in this for me? What's my role been? And that's helped a lot to release things. And yeah, I also find just knowing my worth and my abilities has been like a huge personal shift.
Awesome. I love that so much. Congratulations on your practice. That's huge, right? I know a lot of people when they come in, if some of people are already working in the field, whether it's nursing or mainstream, or if they're already in their spiritual work, and it can definitely take a toll where you don't either enjoy the work that you used to love because you are overwhelmed and drained, or I see a lot of sensitives stop like growing their gifts and growing their business that they feel called to do because energetically it's kind of like, I don't know. I want more clients, but I don't. It's like this unconscious foot and pedal on the brake. So good job for navigating that. And yay for confidence and trusting yourself. You have such amazing gifts to share. All of you do. It's always so fun to see you, all of you shine. All right, Sakura.
Yes, yes. Where do I begin? So, yes, to everything that was already said. I've been on this awakening journey for a while, but Jim's program, SSU, was like the missing piece. I took I kept getting all of these nudges to do this course and that course and this course and that. So I became a Reiki master. I became a crystal master, all the things, and still feeling overwhelmed and not knowing what to do next. And then just like everybody else, all of a sudden I had an ad from this beautiful woman and this 4-day series, and like, okay, maybe this is for me. And, had all the feelings and all of the, oh, I don't know, where's the money going to come from? But stuff just started happening. And then when I took the leap, it's a game changer for sure. Because like I said, I became certified in so many different modalities, but I did not really know how to meditate. I knew quiet yourself, but how do you do that? How is that possible? Jen literally taught me how to meditate, and it's a practice that has changed my life. I do not start my day without um, setting my own, programming myself. That's what I call it. I program myself, and I don't let the world program me anymore. And so I have a much more aligned experience with life now because of Soul Success Unleashed. The tools are undescribable and worth their weight in gold and plus more. So there's so much more that I could share.
That's amazing. I love that so much. Programming yourself. It is. It's kind of like, are we responding to life? Are we the one in like the creator of our own life? Or are we allowing ourselves to have to respond to the demands, the responsibility, our own mind of our fears and our, all the things that come up. And so, yeah, that's amazing. Amazing, amazing. All right. Yay. Let's see. We have the beautiful Carla now on the stage with us.
Are insane today, and it's probably affecting my camera. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's so happy that your beautiful voice is here and we can see your screen. So that's perfect. So we were just asking the first question and it's perfect timing because we just got to the space for you, which is how has Soul Success Unleashed positively impacted you personally?
So really, it has taught me how to manage my psychic information that I've been receiving. And it's been since childhood that I've had these experiences, but I always felt that until SSU, that I couldn't control the information. I always felt like it was accidental, and I would occasionally see auras around people. I would receive information in many different ways, but it never felt like something I could control. And until attending or completing, being in the program, I finally felt that I had the tools needed to manage the information that I previously felt I was at the mercy of receiving. And, although I previously thought I had to be in certain states to receive that, after the program, I was able to lean into that more and intentionally go to that space, that state, whether it's theta state or other brain states, but just in that state of not even really meditation, because I had been previously meditating before that, but being able to access the information through those states at will.
Yes, I love that so much. And I think a lot of people can relate to that as well, like the haphazard things coming in. I think when I first started having my experiences at a couple of them, and it's like, I just thought it just happened. It wasn't anything I could do at will. I didn't know if it would ever happen again. It was just very spontaneous. Or some people are so open that they get so overwhelmed. So I love that you brought that piece in, that, you got to kind of choose how and when and what information, and hitting on the idea that it's a lifestyle, right? Ideally, as we continue to do this, the tools that I teach and the process that I teach in the Soul Success Unleashed program isn't just about, oh, right here and right now. Those will give you defined experiences when you're consciously having an intention to read an energy. But what I love that you talked about is that the integration of the higher self, right? That is, in a nutshell, our spiritual journey. And when we can align and embody our higher self, our intuition is just right there. It's right there all the time throughout the day. And sometimes we don't even know we're tripping over it, right? When you start to like just realize that your higher self is guiding your actions and steps. Sometimes it's in hindsight. You go, oh, that was so synchronistic. I didn't even know. I was just cruising along my day. But that is some of the power of just really intentionally embodying that connection to your intuition and higher self, which is who you truly are, right? So it sounds like you've got that. You got that. And that's amazing. Love it. All right. So the next question, and this is could be similar, but I think that there's like more of like the transformational aspect of this. Like, is there a particular transformation that you worked through in this program for yourself? So Sakura, you want to kick us off for that one?
Yes. So first I had unbeknownst to me a ton of religious programming that I had to work through, that, oh my goodness, after that was like shed, I was able to literally feel like unzip myself and shine in a new way, unapologetic, and just um owning my uniqueness. It was I've always known that I've been, a little different. We all are, though. We all are different, but I've always known I'm a little different. But it was okay after going through this process. And part of what was kind of keeping me shielded from a lot of the world was my coping skills. I didn't have any, really. I used to numb out to life in so many ways, whether it was vegging in front of the TV, or I used to be 265 pounds, or overeating. And I'm sorry, excuse me, not 200, 365 pounds. I've lost a lot of weight. Uh, um, so I've been on the path of just overindulging to numb myself from life. And I used to numb when I came across Jen. I had already gotten the weight under control. I'd already, kind of steered away from the news and TV a little bit, but I was still numbing myself from feeling through marijuana. And I didn't think, because I didn't know how to meditate, I thought I had to connect in that way. I thought I had to, imbibe something, to get there, oh, here we go. But I didn't realize that that was kind of clouding, for lack of a better term. I was in a smoke cloud, but it was clouding and numbing my ability to actually pierce the veil, for lack of a better term. It I never knew. I used to claim 3 vices, and that was one of them. Jen helped me release all 3 of them. Um, uh, so yeah, that's the biggest transformation, because I used to say that's one thing I'm just never gonna not be able to do, without. I'm just never gonna be able to not uh, be somewhere else, because being here was too much. It was overwhelming. I could not. After going through the program, I could distinguish what energy was mine and what I was taking on, that I didn't have to anymore. And that was what was causing me to feel like I had to numb out from life. Realizing what I did not have to take on anymore was a game changer. I can't say thank you enough for that.
That's amazing. So powerful. So powerful. And it's fun because each person, that's what's so beautiful about this program as well, is it's like it'll meet you where you're at. And so everyone, the overarching theme is to align with your higher path, your higher purpose, and to transform whatever's going on with you to take you to the next level. And then, of course, developing your gifts. But like for you, you didn't know that was what you were coming in as your intention for, but it's like that's what showed up. And then you had the tools to release those core feelings. I think a lot the energy mastery tools, right? To not feel so overwhelmed and be able to process that pattern probably as well. So that's amazing. Congratulations on all of that. And then now it's like I just see you, what I noticed too is that you're an action taker. And I think sometimes, that gets inhibited as well. Sometimes we can have all these thoughts, ideas, and dreams, but if we're not fully grounded in our body, we can stop ourselves from taking the action. And you've done such a beautiful job of just like going for it and getting things done. So very good.
Can I
Uh,
just say one more thing, since I know this is a round table? Um, I also realized that's a family pattern. It's in my family. Addiction is in my family, and I was able to break free from that. I had to say that. You
yeah.
will break so many generational curses, if you want to call them that, through this program. I had no idea that it was possible for me, and I didn't even see it as that until I was able to step outside of it.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, that's huge because there's so many different patterns for people. And I've had some people get off medications, other people go vegetarian, other people quit smoking or drinking. And not everybody has to go through that. Maybe that's not their lesson. Some people it's healing the grief or, to people pleasing. I mean, there's so many different aspects, but that is very, very powerful. So thank you for sharing. Okay. Deanna.
Yeah, let's see. What has been my biggest transformation? Well, I align with what Sequoia was saying. I stopped drinking in 2012, but if you're an alcoholic, you understand that if you don't drink the sugar, you tend to eat it. So I had shifted that, and I had a real fat sugar addiction that I had wanted to stop. And I didn't even realize it was like it just wasn't a struggle. My body, the more aligned my body and I became, which again, because I was so used to going into large spaces, I also became a Karuna Reiki master. I accumulated the modalities, not, all the things, but I couldn't control the energy of if I went into a crowd, I felt everybody's stuff and it was so overwhelming. And so that tendency to try to silence or numb was there. um, what I loved about each module in SSU is as they unfolded, it was just like, I don't want to say you're not doing work, like you're taking action, you're showing up, and you're making a commitment to yourself in that process. And I think that work helps, and that signifies to my um, high self, to my high soul, that hey, we're doing transformational work. Let's dig in. Let's take a look at what doesn't work and what does work, and kind of having that whole picture. And the other thing that tied in with my sugar story was I had an energy pattern going on that I had of conflict, and it had gone from childhood to my first marriage to an individual in my life now. And I didn't have, there didn't need to be confronting or any of that stuff. That I would, through the tools, the module on family bonds and ancestral lineage, especially, that really helped me. All of a sudden, one day I realized my body wasn't lighting up around the energy anymore. And I was like, that is so cool. And it didn't just happen one day, it's been every day since I had the awareness. So it's as though that old pattern just lost its charge. And that was really exciting to me.
That's huge, right? And I think a lot of us are
Right.
coming in. Well, every single human being has a level of family patterns and programming, and we incarnated to our family to have that be a catalyst for growth, whether we're aware of it or not. But I think a lot of us are aware that we kind of came in specifically to clear a lot of these things for ourselves first and foremost, but also for those around us. Like it's not always easy to be the first person, but then you got the future generations, whether you have children or nieces or cousins or, just people in your life. Energetically, when we start to make those changes, it actually helps those in our immediate surrounding, those in our workspace, our family, friends as well. So yeah, amazing work and amazing work. All right. Let's see, Ilana. Or did I already? Yeah, Ilana.
Yeah, it's really so wonderful to hear Sakara and Deanna's stories. Like, I think I'm currently in my process of transformation now, but between when I started SSU and now, I think the largest overall change has been my sense of faith and trust in myself. Um, it's like my belief in what's possible. Now I know it's not only that miracles are possible, but they're encouraged and they're supported. They're supported by the universe. So having this connection with myself and with source and spirit has given me just this confidence to explore and do things that I never thought would be possible. And now I'm coming up in this process of transformation of really um, launching all of that and aligning with my purpose work and writing a book and seeing where all that goes. And even though it's difficult and I'm not sure, I haven't gotten to the other side yet, having that faith and that trust and knowing to be able to come back to myself and my sense of knowing, even when maybe other people have different opinions or their energy comes in that's like, what are you doing? Or I'm not really sure. I can keep coming back to, well, I know what I'm doing. Even if I'm getting the plan is in pieces and it's one step at a time, I trust and I have faith and knowing that it's all going to come in the right time.
That's huge. I mean, that's really what it's about, right? I think we all wish there'd be some clear blueprint and a secured guarantee guaranteed to happen, wouldn't that be great? But that's not how it goes, right? So having that courage and faith is so paramount in yourself, and not only in yourself. Like, I love that, because it's like yourself and then just knowing that the universe is going to provide, right? You just have to drop in and receive those information and guidances and take the one or two steps, and things will unfold themselves, and usually much more magically and easily than we could have put our mind to, right? In terms of how we think things are going to happen. So I love that so much. Awesome. Okay, so let's see here. The next question is, oh, I love it. What is your favorite Soul Success Unleashed tool and why? And I know sometimes people are like, oh, but I got two. That's okay. As long as you share your top one or two tools. Ilana, you want to kick off this one?
Yeah, sure. I think I mentioned earlier when I started at SSU, I was in my internship and had just moved to seeing 17 clients. So the crystalline earth energy tool and the divine source energy tool was so paramount to clearing energy. After every single client, I only had sometimes a couple of minutes, and I was using that. And then I was using it when I got home or when I was dealing with my personal life, and that's still something that it just feels so good. I think that's why it's my favorite tool, because I use it the most, and that sense of getting clear is so helpful to come back to the present moment and come back to your own groundedness, centeredness. I know what to do for myself.
Yeah, it's so huge, right? To have that energetic flush. It's like that energetic shower really quick. Okay. I've taken many bathroom breaks, between my hair clients, especially when I was still doing hair. I was like, okay, just go sit, like run my energy for a minute, because sometimes you gotta just take a second. And that, I love that. So those tools, like, it's like that energetic shower, and you can turn them on and off. And that's the cool thing. I think that people maybe not know, which is a great point that you mentioned, is that these tools, there's two styles of meditation tools that I work with and teach mostly. And one of them is embodiment tools, which is what she's speaking to, the energetic mastery tools. And that's really just how to optimally walk through life, right? You can use them. I'm using them right now. I use them when I teach. I use them when I'm, in a bank or in a place where I'm around people or working with clients, as a way to have my own spiritual energy autonomy and connection to myself, instead of becoming the effect of those and the world around me and whatever mood they might be in, or whatever heaviness that they might be in, or the collective energies in. I can be aware of it. So it's not numbing, but I can be aware of it without it having to become me and affect me. And I think that's so, so huge. So I love that. Let's see. Kathy says, it's wonderful to hear your journeys and success stories. Yes. Thank you. Isn't it fun? I love hearing it too. All right. So let's see. Deanna, go for it. What's your favorite tool?
Sure. So I was thinking two different things. Like you said, one of my favorite tools that I use all the time is the ground, align, connect. I'll
Mm.
be, especially with all the weirdness that's gone on in my life the last like 6 months, I can feel myself get off centered and out of body. Even if I'm at the gym or any of that, I'll just pause for a moment and think, like, let go of my old grounding, ground align connect, and I feel myself kind of pull into center and land in my heart. And I really love that. And the other tool I've enjoyed isn't necessarily one that we run during our sessions, but it's the auric colors. That has been such a useful tool for me to be able to kind of separate the vastness of the energy I see or receive in terms of other people. Looking into that color, it gets so much more clear what I'm seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing, any of that stuff, whether it's for them or for myself. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
That's huge, right? Because just being able to identify, because I think that starts to cause half the overwhelm and confusion and distraction. And oh, let me just get out of my body and veg out or eat something. I mean, that's kind of where that comes in. And just also for more specific guidance, I think a lot of times people wish they had, the overwhelm. It's like if I open up, then I just get all this random information. I don't even know if it's helping me. I mean, I don't want to go through the grocery store reading everybody's loved ones that are with them. That's a lot. So that's where people, I think, do either shut it off all the way, right? Or just get so overwhelmed and don't know that you can choose. Like learning how to, this is the energy and the information and the question I want answers to right now, not everything in the universe and everybody else's energy. I want to know this answer right now. And that really is a huge key. So I love that. I love that you brought that piece forward. All right. And then the ground align connect is nice, right? It's just kind of like, oh, I can just receive receive a little healing, and you can use it for family, friends, pets. It's just sort of like a quick energy flush that you don't have to really put much into. So that's another great one. All right, Sakura.
All right. So it's really, really hard for me to say one. It's really, really hard because it's an arsenal that you get here. And you pull out what you need at certain times, and I use them all the time. Ground Align Connect, for me, it used to be, I used to feel it the most when you would say it in the meditation. I'm activating that. I was like, okay, I can feel it now. Now I can run it on myself. I do it every morning. But also, I finish every meditation with the receiving gauge because I want to know where I am actually, and then I want to set it to where I want to be. I actually draw 100% in the air, and then I raise it to 100%, and I set it there. But I have to mention one more. I'm not going to mention them all, but I have to mention one more. But the crystalline silhouette, that was the first tool that when I first took this course, I was like, this stuff is real. Oh my gosh. Because I was one that took it in November timeframe. And so right when we were first starting the energetic mastery modules, here comes Thanksgiving. And now I'm sitting with my family and they're very loud and lots of stuff going on, and I'm activating my crystalline silhouette. And I'm able to stay. I didn't have to go outside. I didn't have to, smoke. I didn't have to numb myself out. I was able to stay. I was able to take in what I wanted and leave the rest, and I can actively feel myself activate that when I'm around people that just like walk up into your auric field, I can feel that happen. I can make the energetic separation right then and there. And I don't feel overwhelmed, and I can literally back up from there and move on versus feeling obligated to stay and sort stuff out for you energetically, so that's a game changer for me because I used to run to the person hurting in the room. I'm still an empath. I'm still very nurturing and I'm still very compassionate. But if you were hurting in any way, I used to spiritually bypass. Give it to me. Give it to me. I'll take it from you and make you feel better, But now I don't have to have that energetic overwhelm, and I allow people to have their own journey as well. So it changed my life.
That's awesome. And I think that's so true. I think a lot of times that's an unconscious thing that happens, right? When you feel it, sometimes it's actually an unconscious self-preservation attempt, which we don't maybe realize. I think that we learn as a coping mechanism as the time that we're young, even where we kind of just go, oh my gosh, I feel that. Okay, if I'm going to stand here and talk to you, I'm going to plug this up for a second because that's kind of a lot. And I'm aware that you're hurting. You may not be aware that you're hurting, but I can feel that. And so in order to be in your space, I have to plug that for a minute. And then we forget and we walk away with it. Right. And so I think that happens on such an unconscious level, just to find a way to try to actually exist within the world of the energy, around us. on top of the fact, we have the heart, we feel the compassion. Of course, we don't want to know people are suffering and so on. But at the end of the day, when we hold our divine light, it actually allows them to hold their light. So then we are actually a more accomplished, like a better healer to help hold that space for somebody, whether it's our friends, family, loved ones, clients, than if we're doing it, from a depleted space or in a way that is actually not allowing the other person to know how to manage their own energy, right? Which is also actually codependency in that way. It's actually hindering both people's growth. It's a short term, like, oh, everybody feels better for a minute until all of a sudden you don't, and they don't know how to manage it the next time that somebody else isn't taking the energy for them, right? And so it's that was a huge shift. I think that's one of my favorites too. And I think really all the tools work together, learning to ground so you can release, moving the energies that will through your field, making more space to embody your higher self, having that elevated energy boundary. So it's like together they are all just a different spoke in the wheel. So it is kind of hard to choose. And I love you all chose different aspects. So thank you. Okay. So the next question. Okay, so this is a little bit more on the tangible aspect. We talked a bit about the transformational, emotional aspects. So now, how has it helped either your purpose work? So if you've had a business, whether it's spiritually based or not, just how has that helped? Has it helped you, right? Started writing a book or something like that, and then and your like intuitive skill set, the confidence and just the ability of the information that you're actually access and able to bring in. So more of a tangible skill set and aligning with your purpose work or business aspect. Cora, I'll kick you off there.
All right. Well, I could have said this, for the first question. The answer, I'm going to share it now. But the fact that I'm on camera right now is a testament to the power of Jen's tools, because I could not even take, the attention. I couldn't take all the energy, that comes with being on camera or being live. It changed my life in that way. When that happened, and I was like, okay, the next class, I was on camera and I was with it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really working. This is changing my life, literally, because I know I'm supposed to be doing something public. Oh my gosh, now I'm able to go live. Now I'm able to be myself in front of the world. It changes things in such a way for me. And I'll also mention, Jen always talks about breadcrumbs from spirit with this practice. I've had a while to, put this in action for myself. I don't just follow the breadcrumbs. I pick them up and eat them, so that I don't find the trail to go back to where I started. I want to continue on this journey. And it's like more and more presence. It's like that still small voice becomes a boombox, for me. Jen one time mentioned Q&A journaling. We've heard all of this stuff, and I've read the book, Conversations with God and all these things. And I've taken channeling courses, before I met Jen. And like I said, I have all these certifications, but Jen made it all. She was the missing piece. She made it all make sense. Because I've always felt something was coming, from me. And I didn't know how to trust that it wasn't me making it up. Jen suggested Q&A journaling. And because everything else that she suggested thus far made a huge impact and like changed my life, and just like, okay, this is real. As soon as she said that, I'm telling you, the next morning, I'm all right, here we go. I'm going to Q&A journal. And I'm not kidding. I've got chills thinking about it. What came out was purpose. What came out was my truth and my higher self speaking. And I am not even exaggerating. You can go back and look through the group, the post. Within 3.5 months, I had a book and I published it on Amazon. I have never published a thing in my life. I'm telling you, this stuff is real. Jen's program works. These tools are, if you're on the, let me just stop. I'll say the rest in a minute with the next question, but yeah, changed my life in amazing ways. I'm able to show up more authentically and unapologetically. I'm able to, with the energetic tools, it just sets the tone also for me, being more aligned in my purpose work as well. I'm not so scattered and like, I don't know how to do this. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do it. No, 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 no. Just calm down and let synchronicity flow. So yeah, it has helped me in amazing ways. Amazing ways.
I love that so much, and people probably think, "You were shy, you were afraid of the camera because 'cause you're so
Right.
natural," right? And also, like, the light language, like, really just being a channel and doing videos, not only just being on right here, but just being able to show up and then share your truth and then do, the messages and the things like that, and even sharing vulnerably to share the messages that were coming through before you knew it was gonna be a book. Well, maybe I
Yeah.
don't know at what point you knew it was gonna
I
be a
didn't
book, but
know.
it was
Yeah.
posts, right? She was just sharing, "Hey, this helped me. Does it help you?" And then all of a sudden she's like, "Hey, wait, I could put this together," and now she's helping a lot of others with those messages that were just really awesome to see. There's a lot of energy that goes into publishing and going through and the vulnerability of like sharing words on paper to the world, right? So good
Can
job.
I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
Jen, I've said this before, but Jen made the woo woo real. I hope that makes sense to you. But there's a lot of stuff that was like coming to me, and I was like, because of the religious program, I was like, I don't know about that. But it was made real after all the stuff was cleared out. Oh, okay. Archangel Michael really is trying to talk to me. Okay, this is okay. I do have dragons. Okay. Never in my life had I even been open to that, let alone letting it be real and then helping me. So just had to say that.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. All right. Ilana.
I'll speak first to the intuitive skill set because that's the simplest. I didn't really have like throughout my life, there wasn't all this information or I couldn't see auras. I didn't really know I had so many abilities. There was kind of like a big shift that happened 2 years ago when I went to an ayahuasca retreat. And it kind of, even before that, I could notice that I could feel energy, but probably in the way most people can. Like I remember in college, I was just hanging out with friends on the bed and I was like, do you realize if we hold our hands really close together, you can kind of feel a tingle and everyone could feel it. So everyone has these senses and these gifts to a point, but I had no idea how much I was capable of until I started the reading practice exchanges. I was so nervous and so unsure, but by the third one, I had gotten so much feedback. I was just like, holy moly, I can do this. I didn't know I can do it. I thought it was just thoughts in my head, but it's actually messages. It's not just thoughts in my head. So SSU really catapulted my intuitive skill set in so many ways, and it's translated. It's not just about your connecting and your hearing or your knowing. It's your sensing and your feeling and your energy work and your healing. So there's so much there. And with the purpose work, like I mentioned, about 4 years ago, I decided I wanted to change careers and become a psychotherapist. And my reasoning at that time, I had been working in corporate jobs as a technical writer for almost a decade. And there was something that happened at work, and I was like, you know what? I don't want anyone else to put a limit on my potential. I want to do something where I can be self employed, that has meaning, that feels good to me, and something that feels really genuine. So I moved into becoming a therapist. And throughout that time, as a student, I was like, I really want to teach people how to know themselves. And so I was experiencing for myself firsthand, how do I know myself? And that's kind of what led into more of the spirituality because to know yourself, you have to know we are spiritual beings, we're light beings. So the ayahuasca retreat really kind of it just blew the top off of things for me. And then finding Jen, it was like she helped to put a rudder and a wind, the wind in my sails towards my purpose work. And it was like, even if I shift course and I'm not necessarily working in clinical based psychotherapy, there's so much I can do and so much I have to offer people that can be actually even more transformative than I ever thought. So yeah, it's been really amazing, and I'm still keeping this openness to miracles and how that's all going to work out.
Oh, I love that so much. I love the combination of like pulling in. That's what makes us all unique, right? Each one of us has gifts and each one of us has our own unique lens on life and the skill sets, and just bringing them together and being open to those changes is so huge. Because I think as we grow and evolve, our purpose work and what lights us up grows and evolves, right? And then for each person to have like what they've gone through in life as their teacher, plus all the different types of skill sets and things that they've learned, their experiences they've transformed, like that all just brings a unique perspective that is going to help so many people, right? However you show up for us. That's so exciting. I love hearing your story, and I'm super excited to be a part of your journey for sure. Right. So we have a Deanna left, right? For this one.
I have to agree with what both Elena and Sakura said. I had aspects of each of your stories as part of mine, and I've noticed in the practice reading how much I connect with other people that are drawn to Jen's work. I feel as though I've I've been in the energetic field and studying consciousness intensely for about 7 years, and I know that frequency aligns, but watching it in real time has been very powerful, and it helped my soul's purpose. I would say this also is one of the tools that we're given in SSU is the embodiment. I before getting into the coursework, I had my energy friends, and then I had my AA friends, and I had my family. And like each of them knew of each other, but I was a different me in each space. And I didn't have any kind of cognition that that was the reality I created, but I'm certain you can all hear in that segmentation, there's no authenticity. So I have been feeling, I automatic write, and I have doused for decades, and I had received messages to be of service. But, showing up on camera, ooh, scary. Showing up in person in large groups, scary. Being seen, scary. So showing up to the practice calls, I initially was petrified, and then I was just so excited because I realized like Jen does such a good job of kind of it prepping you in the beginning of the SSU module one. I feel as though I was getting a really great grounding and embodying of all aspects of myself. But when it came time to show up, Elena touched on it earlier. I realized by like the third or fourth call that I'm the one that holds me back, that I'm the one that created the story, and I'm the one that lived out what I thought that meant. And when I shifted that, everything shifted. And I've been able to have, like real time miracles. You guys heard me mention at the start of the call about my husband
Mhm.
requiring open heart surgery. He had just turned 45. Well, we went to the ER for his gallbladder to come out, and I had to use my intuition. In St. Louis, we have some wonderful hospitals, but they're all different. And I grew up in Seattle, Washington, so I don't know it. It's not part of my being. So I really had to lean on my intuition in terms of where to take him. And then once we realized he had a large aortic aneurysm and was going to require open heart surgery, I am so grateful because I actually used a couple of Jen's tools in meditation, a couple of her pre-recorded meditations each day just to center because I felt better in my body in the chaos. But then I received kind of clear knowing in terms of the direction to go. And I also was given the freedom that ultimately it wasn't up to me. I think so often as women in our life, when we're dealing with family, be it your kids, your mother, your father, your husband, you think that like you have all this power, and you don't. What you have, and what I've enjoyed so much in this process, is it's really aligned my soul with my purpose is to a create and express that creation, but to be of service to others. So in that moment, it wasn't about which hospital Mark chose. It was about here's some options. What sounds good to you? And none of that was a reflection on me or his family or anything except for being of service and seeing God work in the very real moments. Um, those are all gifts of awareness that I would say is another miracle from this program, that awareness of the everyday. Sakura, you mentioned it as breadcrumbs. You know, I call it God's megaphone to me. Is he just is reminding me, like, yo, you're not alone, and I am going to show you in such astounding ways that lest you question it, right? Like, it's so clear it's not of me, but that it's orchestrated for me. So I feel profoundly blessed in that arena.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I got chills listening to you too. It's because fear, it does a funny thing, right? It's like when we can get embodied, like all the fear, the chaos, the stress, and then and also our family's fear, his fear, we start to empath all of that. And it starts to sometimes it can knock us off our center. And so being able to find that center in the eye of the hurricane
Yeah.
of all that fear storm and like find that solidarity, actually that helps those around us too, because it helps others kind of match that solidarity. It's like we can be that for ourselves, which helps us open to whatever awareness or knowing we need to have in that moment, how to respond, how to be, hold space, whatever actions, if there is any. But then I think it definitely sets the precedent to help those around us start to find their own center as well, which is also a gift. So I feel like, yeah, that's so beautiful. And trust, I think a lot of you have missed trust or mentioned trust in a lot of the things that you said, because it is so much about trust and allowing. It's this combination dance that we do with the universe of allowing and trusting and just following and then taking that step and then allowing, trusting, following, opening. There's such a big aspect of surrender that requires building that faith muscle. And I think the other thing too is the practice sessions, for anybody that's watching or considering joining, they're always optional, but definitely highly recommended. Everybody's nervous ahead of time, but you don't do it for a whole month and you definitely get all the tools you need and you're going to be held in a great space. But man, when you have the courage to just feel the fear and the doubt, which everybody's feeling, right? It's the same fears and doubts that stop us from writing the book or going after our dreams or speaking our truth in a relationship. The fears that we had, like just having the decision to show up through that in and of itself is a transformation. And then the support and validation you get from flexing that muscle in a safe space, just it exponentially accelerates your skill set and your confidence within it so quickly. Right. But sometimes it's that first hump. So I always like to mention, don't worry, you're in a safe space. You'll have lots of tools by then. But when you do that, it's such a transformation to just even show up. All right, let's see what the next question is here. So for those of you that are considering the program, so I'm going to ask them, what would you say to those that are considering the program? Because I think a lot of the people that are here on this call are leaning in because they're resonating a lot with the stories. They've resonated with the series. They probably want to have some level of shift in their life, whatever that might be. And so for those of you that are on the fence, what would you tell them about, what would you tell them? What's your experience here? Ilana?
What would I say to those who are on the fence? I would say I get it. I was there. I had equal amounts desire and doubt to the point where I had the web page for enrollment open as a tab on my phone for weeks. And I waited until the last day to enroll, to just go for it and do it. And, I was really lucky I had my husband's support, but like probably so many of you, it's like so much tends to fall apart before you get built back up. So I had right before I went on that retreat, I'd been laid off from work, so I was fortunate to be a full-time grad student and not work and do grad school, but I didn't have any incoming money and it felt like it was a difficult thing to invest in. But how often, I asked myself, how often do I really invest in myself? I came up with the money to take an EMDR course to get trained in that to help other people in my career. But SSU is really, truly an investment in yourself. And it's like so much more than a course. It's a community. Like Sakura and Deanna mentioned, you're going to be connecting with people who are going to uplift you in such amazing ways. The impact you're going to have on each other, even if you only see them for one practice exchange, just the feeling you get at the end of the day after you've had these experiences and exchanging information and all this amazing support. And it's also a catalyst if things have fallen apart or if you're kind of building towards that. This is really going to push you to your next level, and you have so much support around that. And it's also a mirror. It's what it's a course, like God's megaphone, you know, like you're going to learn more about yourself in this 3-month course than you would doing 3 months of psychotherapy. This is maybe about you connecting to your gifts and your abilities, but it's about you connecting with you. If you do Q&A sessions with your higher self or angels or fairies or whoever else you can think of it as, it's all you with a different name and a different vibration. So it's just all the amazing ways you get to learn about yourself and the universe. So, and the best thing too, like Jen mentioned, this course really meets you where you're at. So maybe it feels like a 3-month course, but it's actually more like year-long course because you can come back and restart it and you will be so surprised of like, oh, it feels different this time. There's things I heard that I didn't even get because you're foundationally building, you're growing and you're learning. And this is going to support you to keep growing in the next level and the next level and the next level. So, you know, feel the doubt, I get it. Do it anyway. Just do it.
I love that so much because it's true. I mean, I think it's hard to know, you know, it's like, what is this? I think a lot of times you feel the fear bubble up before you step into transformation. Part of it's the fear that you're going to be addressing, you know, that starts to move up all the doubts and the things that show up. But at the end of the day, man, it really is. I know it's life changing. It makes my heart so happy to know, like, to be a part of just watching, holding the space really, and teaching and helping people to just go to the skies of their limits and to walk out with courage and to see where their life goes for years after, seeing friendships like you mentioned, the community for years after, watching them fly across states. You know, there's something to be said about being in community where you really truly feel seen and not judged, and celebrated for your uniqueness and your differences and just for who you are. Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing those pieces for sure. And the fact that it meets you where you're at, you get lifetime access to the materials. You can always retake things at a very small cost. If you get lifetime access to the materials, but sometimes students like to come back through the live round again. And they'll always get a new realm of transformation. And it's very, very inexpensive to be able to do that. I try to keep it to where people can sometimes have gone through several times, not because they didn't get it the first time. They even may have gotten certified the first time, but because they know that their level of consciousness has changed and they're ready for another round and another catalyst of growth with new mirrors and new communities. So just know that it's something that is something that you can utilize in many ways forevermore. So let's see. All right, Deanna.
Well, thank you, Jen. Thanks everybody for this time too. It's been so good. It's got my brain like thinking of all different things. I love it. What I would say to anybody that's considering this is you're worth it. I think the investment in self is one of, if not the best investment you can make. And I think yet when I was younger, I looked towards society's approved self-investments, right? Like, oh, go to college, that's approved, or go do this training, that's approved. And what I loved about doing energy work in general, but especially once I was called to Jen's work, is it was about what was approved by my high self and my soul being. And during the 4-day activation series that Jen held, I felt parts of me waking up in ways that I had not had activated all at once ever. And so it was a matter of I knew it was the next step for me, and I knew it was investing in myself and investing in this process was my next growth opportunity. No, I didn't know what it would look like. The other thing I have to say I was super called to was the practice sessions. I've done lots of other courseworks where you buy it and maybe I never go back and touch it, or I'll do the training but it's all standalone, or I've done in-person training for my Reiki, and those have all been great experiences. But that freedom to just show up and practice the modality, I'm a learn by doer kind of person. So it really helped it helped to ground and solidify each one of the steps. I loved how each week there'd be a multiple different times I could sign up to try. different things. There's also on the Facebook page, there's outlets where you can sign up with other people taking the course in order to connect outside if those set times don't work for you. I loved that. And I just really felt as though that for me was the sweet sauce of the program because it put it right into action. And every time I showed up and had, I think Elena had shared it earlier, I had those successes. I just felt, oh, cool, I love this. Okay, I want more material. I'll do the next modality. And then the next module would come and it would have an intention for that week's practice sessions. So it was just very, very authentic, and it felt very in tuned and very natural. It didn't feel forced. And for me, it lined up with the way the planet's energy is showing up in my world. So it worked really well. I think, again, I just think that if you make the commitment in the financial aspect, that's fantastic. Agree to make the commitment in the showing up, that is where you'll flourish.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just open with open willingness and see what miracle is going to come in. I've had so many students who are nervous about that because it is, especially if you've never done a, invested into a program before. I know the first time I did a retreat, I felt the same way. And I was manifesting the money and I wasn't sure how. And the angels gave me, I asked them how and they gave me an idea and then it manifested and I got it. And then I went to go hand the money over and I was like, and I froze, and it was like, oh, it's because, yeah, you're kind of facing, underneath it, there's other things beyond money. So as soon as I made that commitment, man, I just busted through limits at that moment. And then from there, I was, hooked. At that point, I allowed myself to just receive so much change and shifting. So I love that so much. And the practicing is huge. It's not only are you practicing a skill set, you are practicing your skill set, which is huge, but you're also getting to transmute your own root. You see your blind spots within the mirror of the other person. So it's like you're transforming and learning how to transform your energy at the same time as being able to actually develop the skill set itself. So it becomes a very multifaceted time for sure. Awesome. All right. So Cora, what do you want to say?
Well, if the question is to those that are on the fence, right? If you're on the fence, I strongly urge you to take the leap, because if you resonate with Jen, if you've been following this whole series for the length of time that's been going on, or even if this is like your second or third time, I'm telling you, there's something that's pulling you back here. This is what you have been looking for. I'm telling you, I was a recent former teacher. I used to teach elementary school, and I had the call to go out and be a healer. It's time, step out and get all these certifications and become this thing. And so I had very, very limited resources because I was trying to figure out how to set myself up. I just knew I needed this certification and all these other things. And so when I found Jen, the transformation that I had in the 4-day series, I was like, well, my God, what could, I can't imagine what could be happening in this container. I have to be a part of this. And when I saw the mini readings during my my first 4-day series, I had a vision of myself doing it. And I was like, well, I guess I got to do this in order to do that, because I, oh my gosh, I never had such a crystal clear vision of that. And because I had that vision, this is just my journey, I'm just sharing. I showed up to every available practice session because I knew I was going to be doing the mini readings when it came around my time to do it. And I actually was one of the people. My whole vision came to be. And so I know I'm not alone with the intense resonance with what is going on here. I'm telling you, take the leap because you will be caught. I had very, very limited funds. If that is your issue, I'm telling you, it's sometimes when you have a bout of scarcity, or if you have a feeling of, oh, I'm doubting this, I don't know, but I'm feeling such a strong pull. Sometimes it's just the old self that's falling away, trying to hold on, trying to keep you stuck into where you're used to. But you already know, I'm speaking to whoever's listening, you already know this is something that you are meant to do. So I'm encouraging you strongly. If you want to step outside of stagnancy, this is it. This is it. Healing is possible. Sometimes, and I had to learn this, you have to feel it to heal it. I don't know who I'm speaking to, but I hope this helps you in some way. This program is the real deal. There's a reason why you keep getting called back. And I was just like Elena. I was on the very last day. I was like, I think, all right, click. And I'm telling you, miracle after miracle, whatever you want to call it, synchronicity after synchronicity has happened. I mean, where'd the money come from? You know, it's because I took the leap that I had to be shown that this is possible. I'm telling you, if you take the leap, you will be caught or you're going to fly. Just wanted to share that.
That so much. It's so true because it can be scary. Money's kind of like in our face. And I definitely, that's why I offer the more extended plans. We've actually also added Klarna. You kind of made a good point. I've added Klarna and Affirm on my checkout, which has helped a lot of people be able to sign up. So you can try that option for the lowest monthly. I've seen it as low as $80 a month as well, where you just click the in full amount instead of the credit card. You hit Klarna or Affirm and just see what they'll offer. They'll let you know within 2 or 3 minutes. Oftentimes, that's helped a lot of people come and step in. I also offer the 12-month plan for everybody on my information page because I truly believe in what the gifts are, right? Most people are not going to offer you a payment plan beyond the time of the course, right? Every business is going to say in full 3-month payment for a 3-month course. That's just logical sense. But I trust life. I trust my energy. I trust what you're going to learn, that you're going to be able to make it happen. And people do. And it's so empowering to bust through those money barriers as well, because money is never really money. It's about something else. There's some other fear underneath it, right? That we get to move through in that process. And for those of you that are feeling, I know there's a couple of countries like Canada and there's just a couple of countries that don't participate in the Klarna, or if some of the people that might be on retirement or other special circumstances, reach out to me, email me. You might get a miracle. I'm happy to work out a slightly more extended plan for people if they're committed to wanting to show up for it. And we just need to figure out how to make that work to get around the corner of the hump. Yeah, I'm happy to work with you as best I can. So thank you all for showing up for me. I appreciate you showing up. I know your energy is here with us. I'll put the information for the program in the links there in the comments. If you have any questions, you can also sign up for a free 15-minute call. If you have questions about if this is the right best step for you or a fit for you, it is not a reading or a personal guidance session, though. It's for people who are really considering and wanting to know, is this the best next step? We'd love to connect with you, answer your questions, see where you're at, and they will tell you how it will support you if it sounds like the best next step or not. If it's not, they'll point you in the direction of a resource for sure, because I want to make sure that you are, you're getting guided in the next direction. I know sometimes it's just nice to connect with a human being on the other side. I know lots of us are sensitive empaths here, and sometimes that can be helpful. There are a few more on the calendar. I am so excited for all of you. Those of you that jumped in, welcome. Check out your energetic mastery tools. I opened them up already because I know that one is such a life changer for people. In fact, I think every round I've had people say it's worth the price of the program before I even started, because they dug into the energy mastery tools and they're already seeing a difference before we even actually start the program. So I know if it's possible for them, it's possible for you. And it'd be my honor to continue to support you. So thank you so much for being here. Let me know if you have any questions and we'll talk again soon. All right. Bye for now.